Topic today is my theory as to why education is kind of going down the crapper. But how is education crappy? It's great, isn't it? It's fantastic! And I think most of us can vouch that it's not. We all hate school, at least the majority of us, and no one really wants to go to a building we're forced to go to. Even if we get to choose which school we go to, we still don't want to be there. I mean, I'd rather be at the school I'm at than other schools I have been to, but I still don't want to be there. I mean, we have to eat vegetables, but we don't really want to. I'd rather eat carrots than I'd eat broccoli, but I still don't want to eat carrots. It's just still the same principle. Now, I'm not saying school isn't important, because education is very vital to the foundation of our lives. A building falls apart if the foundation is not set correctly. And that foundation is our education. Is that things are lost through translation. So we have books from the 90s that have incorrect information, and we have books today that have correct information. But we use the books from the 80s that have even more less correct information. People still believe today that the appendix doesn't do anything for your body. This is totally incorrect. Your appendix keeps bacteria in it. It's what we would call probiotics. Or probacteria. Is bacteria good for you? This bacteria, what it does is it digests the food going through your digestive system. Without it, you can't digest the food. You can't receive the nutrients. It doesn't break down. You basically just eat an apple, it gets digested, it gets a little burnt in your stomach, and then when it goes down your digestive system so you can receive the nutrients, it just comes out basically whatever it was from your stomach because there's no probiotics to break it down for you. That after, let's say, you have diarrhea or you get really sick and all those germs and everything and the bacteria in your body gets flushed out, I got a text. Your appendix puts back what it stores as a little safety unit, storage area of this bacteria back into your digestive system so you can get better quicker. Now, people would make the argument that you can live without an appendix. This is true. But I can also live with one kidney, one lung, only a brainstem, 10% of my stomach, and also without a head. So argument saying that you can't live without that you can live without an appendix, I think is invalid because you can frankly live without most of your organs. It just means your life sucks. But here's the point I'm trying to get. Is that books from years ago, decades even, will say that an appendix is something that through normal human evolution will no longer be in humans in 50, 60, 80, 100, even 1,000 years. However, science has retracted that statement and said, actually, we do need our appendix. That's why we have it. This isn't taught, though, in school. Most teachers just say that, well, it's not really needed. Yeah. Think about it like this. Here's a random planet I drew in a notebook. It's got detail. It's got what it's supposed to be. Maybe there's some flaws in it, but hopefully the next drawing makes it a little more detailed. By the time the next drawing comes out, the picture has less detail because instead of someone drawing off of that and making something better from it, they simply just traced it and said, well, I'm just going to use this information or this picture and just kind of run with it. Now let's say this artist that traced that wants to teach another student, but the student wants to use that same picture, but they don't really want to like make stuff off of it. They're like, this is great just the way it is, because I haven't seen anything better yet, and everything else looks too complex, so I'm just going to take this. But then over time, student to teacher, student to teacher, student to teacher, artist, the picture loses more and more detail until this is what you get left with. It's a sad circle. There's no information. There's nothing to go off of it. There's nothing great about it. And that's where our education system is. Teachers learn something so complex, and yet when they become teachers, they lose something because they don't want to expand upon it. They simply say, here's information, eat it, gobble it up, and spit it back out. Not, look class, today I'm going to teach you a whole lot of stuff. I'm going to show you as much information I can. I want you to absorb it all. And at the end of the year, I'm going to give you a paper. In this paper, you're going to write down everything you think you learned. If you write down a lot and you learned a lot, you get a good grade. If not, you didn't really learn anything, we'll talk about it. But if you just didn't even put anything down, you failed the test. It's really easy to pass. All you have to do is retain some type of information. It's all on your own. It's a self-taught kind of thing. And that's how it should be. And that's how it should be, but it's not. It's more like, hey Tim, did you do your homework? No. Well, here's a textbook. Doesn't make any sense. You just throw stuff at the kids Now, I'm not saying teachers throw stuff at me, but they aren't very nice sometimes. It could be better, right? But why is it that the education is like this? Why is it that instead of retaining more and more information and learning new objectives, learning new concepts, new theories to build upon, it becomes this ever-increasing cycle of stupidity? You know, if you've ever seen the movie Idiocracy, it's a great example of this. Just people getting stupider and stupider and stupider to the point where we think stupider is a word. And instead of me talking to other people, I talk to you. A soulless, cold internet. One that will never know how I truly think or feel. What we know now is way better, way smarter, way... I dare say... advanced. We knew 20 years ago. But there's stuff we knew 20 years ago that we're neglecting now. I'm not saying the education system was perfect in the 60s, because it most definitely wasn't. But they got some more things right than what we do now. At my art studio I used to work at Kent Bellows here in Omaha, they used to give me this task where they would give me a piece of paper and they'd put a square on it that they drew. And it would be a perfect square, exactly center of the paper. Now they say, this square is a complete concept. There's nothing more to it. It's just this. This is all we know. All that there is. But we want you to add to it. Maintaining the same concept, the same idea of what it was that you were given, but going further up and further in, getting more in depth, more detail into the square, and encompassing the idea and the concept and the complexity of it inside the new picture. So that you didn't lose anything else, but you gained. So that the next time that you would move on from this project to a bigger picture, but with what you had gained, you even gained more. If you give this to someone else, their ideas and everything gets encompassed to it, but if you go back to the center of it, you still had the exact concept of this square. A perfect, complete square. The main idea, the concept, everything is still there. And I think we lost that today in education. Is that instead of maintaining the original concept, we've decided we're just going to twist it a little bit to more idea instead of adding on to it. Building, going up, going farther and further into education and our consumption of information and media today. But that's just what I think. And I use this channel to rant. That completes my thought that I hope you slightly enjoyed, maybe even, I don't know, made you think a bit.